Why you bringing up old shit?
What's happening, guys? Supernova here, back with another video. I've been getting asked a lot to talk about this backwards compatibility thing that's in the news right now, because if you hadn't heard, Xbox came out with some, I guess, press release, or at least something on their website that talks about how backwards compatibility is going to work on the Series X, and how it's going to take all of your older games and it's going to, be able to increase frame rates, increase the performance, and they even have a system to incorporate HDR into games that had no HDR in them at all, which actually is technologically pretty cool. That being said, the only reason that backwards compatibility is even something that we're talking about, or something that anybody seems to care about right now, is because the Xbox One has it and the PlayStation 4 doesn't. Pure and simple. If PlayStation 4 had backwards compatibility, nobody would give two shits about it and no one would be talking about it. Now, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Backwards compatibility is awesome. Being able to take all your old games and play them on your new console is an awesome thing. But does it matter, or is it a big deal? Again, me personally, I say no. And I say that the only reason that it is a big deal right now is simply because it's something that the Xbox people can hold over PlayStation people's heads. Ha ha, we have it, you don't. That's really it. But I want to explain to you guys why PlayStation 4 doesn't have backwards compatibility, because some people like to act like PlayStation just said, fuck you, you don't get to play your old games. No, that's not what happened. When designing the PlayStation 3, Sony decided to go a different route with their CPU, and they designed their own, and it was called the Cell Processor. The Cell Processor was incredibly powerful. How powerful, you ask? Well, powerful enough that the United States Air Force bought 1,760 of them to build a supercomputer, because the Cell Processor was more powerful than any other processor available. And no, that is not a made-up story. That happened in real life, and I bet most of you didn't even know that. That being said, the Cell Processor was also incredibly difficult to program for. Developers hated programming on it, and that's why almost every game that was a multi-platform game looked and ran better on Xbox 360 versus PS3. Because of that issue, when Mark Cerny time yo, became lead designer on PlayStation 4, one of the main things he decided was, we're not going to have that issue with the Cell Processor anymore. We're going to go get a processor off the shelf that's easy to work with, so developers will like to work on our machine and it will be easy. That was a good plus for PlayStation 4. But the negative that came with that is that it was not going to be able to play the older games. That is the only reason there is no backwards compatibility on the PlayStation 4. And like I said, the only reason why it's this big thing that people like to talk about is simply because it is something that Xbox people can hold over the heads of PlayStation people. Once again, ha ha, we have it and you don't. Which is exactly why when Xbox fans hear about backwards compatibility, they say, oh, cool. And when Xbox fanboys hear about backwards compatibility, they begin to jerk off like it's some amazing, ridiculously badass thing, when it's just a normal thing. Anyway, going into next generation, that is changing, because PlayStation 5 will be backwards compatible with PlayStation 4. Sony hasn't said if it'll be backwards compatible with 3, 2, or 1, but we know at least it is backwards compatible with PlayStation 4. Which is good. Like I said, backwards compatibility is not a bad thing. If something has backwards compatibility, that is a plus. It is an addition to whatever else they're offering. That being said, me personally, when looking into the next generation, I do not care if my machine has backwards compatibility. Again, if it does, that's a plus. That's a positive, absolutely. But it is not one of the things I'm looking to hear when hearing about the things my next generation console will do. Because when I put down money for a next generation console, I am looking for next generation experiences. I want new games designed for and running on the new hardware. I don't care if they play older games, okay? When I get a PlayStation 5, I could give two shits if it can play Resistance Fall of Man in native 4K at 60 frames per second. I don't care. Now, to some people, that may be very, very important, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for me personally, I do not care. And I think that going into the next generation, most people are not looking at, can this console play all my old shit? They're looking at, ooh, what's the new shiny shit this console is going to play? Like, let me make a kind of strange analogy here. Let's say it's back in the day, CD players are all the rage in cars. Like, they're just now getting into cars. That's the future technology, CDs. Everyone's been using cassettes and tape players, but CDs are the thing. And in this analogy, Corvette is going to be the Xbox and replace teraflops with horsepower, okay? So I have the current Corvette. It's got 600 horsepower and it plays cassettes. And I go to the dealership and I'm like, look, yo, I want the newest, most top of the line Corvette you have with the newest, most up-to-date technology. And the salesman says, yo, my dude, right over here, man, we got the brand new Corvette. It is the brand new Corvette. It has the most powerful V8 in the world. The one you have has 600 horsepower. This one has 1200 horsepower. It's got a CD player. And it also has a tape deck. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense to you guys? It's like, okay, that's great, but I want the newest and the greatest and the best. I don't really care about the old stuff. Like, if my new Corvette plays tapes, hey, that is awesome. It is a benefit. It is a plus because I have a bunch of cassettes. But is it important? To me, absolutely not. Don't care. Because I want that new, shiny, brand new experience. That's what I'm looking for in my next generation console. And that could be different for everybody. What everybody's desires are, what everybody's wants are completely different. But for me personally, I do not care. And if I had to wager on how much of an impact it's going to play going into the future, I mean, it's going to play a small impact, but not a major impact. Because most people are looking for that brand new, shiny experience. They don't care about the old experiences. The old experiences are done. It's the new experiences that we're looking for. Okay? And I don't care if Microsoft wants to talk about this, fine. I just think the timing is wrong. Because at this moment, Microsoft has yet to show us a reason why we need to buy Series X. They haven't. They haven't shown us any games that are like, this is why you need to buy a Series X. But they're coming out and telling us about backwards compatibility and all this other shit. This, in my opinion, was just the wrong time to talk about it. They should absolutely 100% talk about it because it is a phenomenal feature as an addition to the overall package. But this should have been something that they talked about after July. After the first party event. Where they say, here are the reasons you need a Series X. This game, this game, this game, this game, this game. These are all our first party studio games. These are next generation experiences. You cannot get them anywhere else. Look how fucking good they look. This is why you need to get a Series X. Oh, and by the way, also, you can play all your old shit on it at a higher frame rate, higher resolution, and even with HDR. Does that make sense to you guys? It's just the timing of it was wrong to say it now. But whether they told us now or told us after the event in July, again, me personally, I do not care about backwards compatibility because I am buying this new machine, this new world's most powerful console to play games only possible on the world's most powerful console. Not to play games from 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fucking years ago. That's not why I am buying this machine. Like I said, everybody's wants, everybody's desires are different. If that is what you want in a next generation machine, absolutely nothing wrong with that. Okay? And that's the video, guys. You've been asking me this question, and again, my personal answer, backwards compatibility, not that big of a deal to me. But what about you? Is it a big deal to you? Let me know in the comments. And as always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next Supernova.